So Egbert has finally been awakened. I know this has been a very long-awaited hope from a lot of bow players, that he would provide either potentially a bow-specific synergy in the same way that Jamie is a synergy enabler and he is a spear bias. Layla is a synergy enabler and she has cav bias, and Bleed has Sonara as its synergy enabler with an infantry bias. So there was two options people were hoping for. Either Egbert would be the enabler for a bow synergy somehow, or he would just be a healer to act as the Lats Drake Enzo equivalent, maybe, or Jamie, to allow bows another synergy it could play into, other than just currently the female setup that it's sort of forced into, because it just doesn't function with any of the other synergy types. So I could show things throughout here, but I've written out everything I can figure out in a private Discord channel, and I'll just refer to that instead, because I have all the stats mapped out and whatnot. The note before I leave this and forget is he does have leadership in the Tavern, so getting him to 2 stars will bump up his leadership by 1 star. He also is only elite token. There's no Egbert specific medals. He'll only require elite tokens and will just be awakened as normal through that. I know there were some people thinking he might use his own tokens. I saw someone on the official Discord with over 2,000 Egbert medals saved up, potentially ready for this. It is just elite tokens. I got into 2 star with elite tokens alone, and don't have to worry about farming up his specific medals whatsoever. So this is his 4-star ability. After the battle begins, increases attack of allied bowman lineups by 90% for 15 seconds. It isn't plural here, but there is a report going around which shows it affecting all lineups for bows. So don't worry about that. It will hit all 5 bow lineups. It just won't hit any infantry, cav, or spear marches, of course. The thing with this is it functions very similar to Seg, and of course, if you're a seasoned player, you will know that Seg and his 4 stars historically been very bad, even with his weapon at 4 star when I did the maths on that. It isn't good because you have to count for the uptime of this, so it's already a short amount of time. Fights in GoTWiC last 40 seconds, but also you have to negate the fact that this 90% will be useless whilst troops are moving. That was always an issue with Seg, and it's an even bigger issue with Egbert actually because of bowman units having a low movement speed and being effectively in the 4th row, which both means they have to travel a greater distance to attack, and the enemy lineup has to travel a greater distance to attack them also. So this is versus a rebel group. We'll see at 1 second. There's nothing. There could be Salma procs or like Daenerys 4-star dragon here if they were present. They weren't. But then the first instances of damage were at 7 seconds. So on seconds 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, that 90% is doing nothing. So if we actually math that out according to uptime, I have it all listed out here, you're only getting 9 seconds of that 15 seconds with actually any usefulness. So when you do the uptime maths on that, you could argue this should potentially have the 6 seconds chunked off as well, but it will make a marginal difference. You get the point either way. 22.5%, which is the uptime here, of the 90% bow attack, gives the value of 20.25% bow attack to this 90% bow attack. It can be higher than that, because if you have Salma procs hitting at 1 second, you have normal commander actives hitting at 11 seconds as well, and you snowball a bit harder. The power curve of a female lineup is biased to those first 10-20 seconds anyway, so this will be of greater value then. But of course Egbert's male, so that's an issue in itself, and I think he's very equivalent to Seg in his difficulties in practice with this. But where Egbert will really shine is his passive stats. By this I mean more stats aside from his 4-star ability. I'll specify that. Stats at max awakening. So he has 50% fortification attack, 50% bow attack, and 15% total defense there. So with the 1.6 multiplier at 3-star, that goes up to 80, 24%. Then you add on the hidden bonuses. If you didn't know this, by the way, you can actually see the max hidden bonuses now in this tab. You don't need to search far and wide for this. You don't even need them there. You'll see what you'll get if you put all books into them. So you add on them as well, and it will give you a total of 98% fortification attack, 104% bow attack, and 38.4% total defense. So this is why people are going to care about Egbert realistically. He's over 100% bow attack, just as his stats he's bringing aside from his 4-star, which is massive. For whale bow builds, I'm not sure he gets in because he effectively has no synergy at all. He just has a bit of extra stats to bump this up. The value he's bringing, and in practice, he'll sort of play as if he's a fully stacked Fion, but on offense, if that makes sense. And on defense, you could combine both together to super scale your bow attack really high. Where this will become even better than is listed is if you can get a lot of bow base attack onto your build, because of course the percentage scaling will then exaggerate that even more. But the difficulty this will pose for mid-tier players, whale players, is he has no synergy, so female will still be the go-to build for bows, and he's a male commander, and you're going to have to test and choose if he's worth putting into your lineup. If you're low spending and you don't have Dannys or Cersei's at the high end to really exaggerate the female element of your build, then the raw stats alone of Egbert will make him worth running for sure. But pretty much all he's going to be bringing you is like 125% bow attack if you consider this added on, and that's effectively it. That's all Egbert is going to be bringing you in PvP.